Broadcasting live from my makeshift studio down here in Louisiana. This is Scotty Roberts. You're listening to the Intrepid radio program, which is not really a radio program tonight because, as we've been doing for the past almost 2 months, we are broadcasting only to the live stream on my YouTube channel. And that's youtube.com/Mr. Scotty Roberts. And if you'd like to go over to the Odyssey Radio Network, my network, where we are not playing any live shows for the last 7 weeks now, that's over at Odyssey Radio, ODYSY1.com. Go on over. They're playing archives of these some 400 FM. And as soon as we get any way possible to expand our base down here, you will see what's going on. And I have got monitoring from my cell phone to make sure I'm working dark. So hopefully that won't happen too much tonight. Be prepared for a slightly bumpy ride tonight, because it seems the internet is already giving me some issues. Monitor that we're already backing up a little bit, but we'll do our best. And thank you, Teresa. I appreciate that that you would say that. Yeah, we try. We're trying. And we'll get better at what we're doing. Get a better back and Lake Charles, Louisiana, and we may be moving our base of operations in a couple of weeks out to San Antonio, Texas, which for me would be a much cooler place. Oh, Rocky Stucci, good to see you in the room. And so we may end up in San Antonio, Texas in the next few weeks. We'll see what happens. And I planned on being down here until the end of May. And so once again, folks, you can see the broadcast is suffering a little from our lack of internet. And we're doing the best we can do here in the makeshift studio, in my makeshift life down in Louisiana. So, hey to everybody. Steve Clark, good to see you, guy. Glad you're here. Matt Finn, good to see you as well. Johan Dancing Gypsy, good to see you. I see we're frozen up. So, there we go. I think we're back. So we're going to have a glitchy, bumpy ride tonight because it's already glitching out at the beginning of the show. So let's see what happens. So tonight, I did want to make mention to you something about, you know how we don't do an awful lot of politics on this show. I try to veer away from it. We did a lot more during the election. See, this is why it's good to have a monitor. I can actually see when it goes dark, and I can start up again. So we have been on this company over and over and over again to do something to boost this internet here. So we'll do our best. We'll do the best we can do. You know, it could be my equipment I send too. It keeps giving me a signal. I would have a much better signal, but the router is about 60 feet away from here. And the internet is on 2 poles, one about 50 feet that one, 70 feet that way, another one about 100 feet that way. So that gives you an idea why we are not getting the best signal tonight or any night. So let's go for that. Let's move on to what we're going to be talking about. I do want to talk about I had mentioned that we want to talk about our inner conflicts with others and how some psychological stuff. And also I've got 11 keys to defeat the inner gaslighter. Now, you all heard what gaslighting is all about. People, it's become a flippant term to just throw out at any time somebody wants they don't like what you're saying. And so gaslighting, I want to look at that. There's ways to gaslight others, the way we gaslight ourselves. So we'll do our best to convey that message tonight as well. But before we go there, yeah, that would be the best, Teresa. We just can't. We'd be stretching a I can do. I'm doing, and as I started to say 2 glitches ago, that we I saw it go black for a second. We uh, uh, there we go. I think we're back. The problem is everybody in this campground wants to get on the internet at 9 o'clock at night. So it's problematic at best. So, by the way, you're getting older when you're not just drinking water, you're mixing your fiber drink into it. So that's what I'm drinking tonight. And it actually tastes pretty good. So it's kind of a cherry lemonade flavor if you're looking for something. So, someone call Scotty, then we could go live and do the show. Yeah, that would be nice. It's keeping my internet connection hooked up. I've got to shut everything else down on my computer. So enough on that. We all know it. Everybody who's here, if you're new to the program tonight, you're going to see a little bumpy, glitching stuff going on and off. That's just because we're in the makeshift studio, not a real studio over here in Lake Charles, Louisiana. So let me carry on. Every time I start talking about politics, and I wanted to mention that when I talk about politics, I don't see it as talking about politics. I see it as talking about events that are going on in our nation. And you can call that current events. You can call it anything you want. But you can call it politics if you want. But I wanted to talk about Biden's border crisis. Biden's border crisis. Let's see if that came across. Now you hear how all the semantics being bounced around like a ping pong ball from the Biden administration, from Psaki, his press secretary. And it's her job to do exactly what she's doing, trying to make Joe Biden look good. And the problem we're having at the border is that they campaigned on what a horrible border situation Donald Trump had created. And the problem is they are finding that they are doing the very same exact thing. And they can't call it the same thing. They're having the same problems. They're doing the same things. But in calling those things out, they have to try to find new language to use so they don't sound like the Trump administration. All the Biden administration seems to be in place for right now is to try to cancel everything that was the Trump administration. And that's a problem. Even in the press conference that Joe Biden was present at, you find everything that's asked, every question that's answered always comes back to, well, it's what we inherited from Donald Trump. Well, if you'd have kept what Donald Trump had in place, you wouldn't have a problem right now. Steph says, hey, Steph, Biden opened his mouth saying everyone can come here. He's a jerk. Yeah. There's the story of man, and there's more than one guy saying this, but somebody from South, or I don't know if he was Mexican or Guatemalan, but he said that he waited to come to America and slip across the border until Trump was out of office. Why? Because he knew the Trump administration had a tight border security going. Biden's thrown the doors wide open. I think that's a bad thing for our country. Steve says Trump blocked some farmers from their land. The wall was giving a little USA to Mexico. Yeah, I know that there's nothing's perfect, but what is one of the jobs of the president of the United States? One of his jobs is to control our borders, and that's exactly what the president was doing. Let's see. Was there a link to drop? Yeah, I'll put it in here, guys. I've got Scott Allen is waiting, as a matter of fact, and it has been for a few minutes. So we'll see. We might bring Scott Allen in very shortly. And there's the link if anybody wants to join tonight. Your connection to me will be good. It's whether or not this stream remains solid. That's where we're having the glitchy problems tonight. So just put out a good word to the universe that people stay off the internet here in the campground. That'll help our broadcast out. So let's see. I've got Scott out. Before I get into Biden, let's bring Scott Allen in. Scott Allen, how you doing, brother?
Doing well.
You over there?
Can you hear me okay?
Hold on. I'm gonna have to put on my my headset so we don't get feedback. Hang on a second. You will. Grant me a moment. That's the only reason I wear these is when I've got a guest on or I'm talking to somebody so we don't get feedback. There we go. I think that's, what have I got all tangled up here? There we go. Hold on. So, hold on, and it's still not picking up the headset. Hang on. I gotta find the right hole. So, I think that's the hole. Oh, can be taken in so many bad directions. You know, if I was doing radio with Rocky tonight, you know where that would go. So I can't hear you yet. So there we go. Now I got him. We're untangled, and I got it on. Good to see you, man. Look at that 8. So what a magnificent you have.
Thank you.
Welcome. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm just working in After Effects while I listen to you, working on an animation project. Fantastic.
After Effects is a great pick a hole, Scotty, says Steph Cuervo Queen. Pick a hole. So insert dirty retort, says Michelle Canham Free. So what you working on over there in your After Effects?
I'm doing a animated logo. One of my many side gigs is like a audio video, like a home theater installation company. So I'm doing an animated logo for the website.
Yes. Oh.
Can you hear me okay?
I'm losing you a little bit. There we go.
I lose myself sometimes, so don't feel bad.
Nope. I think I lost Scott Allen. Scott, I'm going to drop you for right now. I'll drop you for a moment, and we'll come back. And so who else we got in here tonight? Let's see. We got Barbie D. It says no devices connected for Barbie D. We got Doug Stack. We got Field Guy over there. Field Guy, since I've talked to you on here before, let's call in Doug Stack. And we'll see what's going on. Can you hear me, Doug?
Yeah,
I can't hear you. You're connected. There you are.
Can you hear me?
You are live on the Intrepid radio program. We see him, says Steve Clark. I'm looking. Look at that fire. Nice. So this is where Doug Stack is living these days, out by his fire pit. So Doug repping. So it's good to see you, brother.
Good to see you.
We've got fire.
I'm getting all confused. I got.
What do you have to say, Doug? Go ahead.
I don't know. I'm getting confused with all this. Can you hear me? I'll call back later.
The technology. I can hear you. There, Doug dropped. So there we go. So, folks, we've got a couple of the field guy. You hang in there. We'll get to you. Let me start something here a little bit on the border crisis, because I want to talk about this tonight. Did you know Biden's border crisis, the terms they are refusing to use for the border crisis is border crisis. And there's 6 things that you need to know about the border crisis tonight. And the administration knew it was going to happen. And a senior CBP that's Border Patrol, this was going to happen. And the Biden administration is facing all kinds of calls from every quarter for more transparency about the border as the federal government diverts tens of millions of dollars to deal with an influx of migrants, including children and families. And the administration ignored all the warning signs coming into this, including briefings from senior Customs and Border Protection officials about an impending crisis at the U.S. southern border. What do you think is going to happen when you throw the doors wide open? You're going to have a problem at the border. That's a big fat duh in my book. And there was this migrant who said that he came across the U.S. border because Biden was elected. And he wouldn't have tried under Trump. They're all wearing those T-shirts that say Biden, the Biden logo from the campaign. Please let us in. And they're writing, some of them are writing their countries down below, Mexico to the USA and so on. So they now believe under the Biden administration that they're going to be given a free ride. Hey, Joyce, good to see you. Joyce, are you serious? Good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. It's nice to have you in here tonight. And again, those of you who haven't been here in a while and anybody new, pardon the glitchiness. We're in the Makeshift studio in my makeshift life down in Louisiana. And so we've got a little bit of a bumpy ride with the internet, but we'll see if we can work our way through it. Morgan Snow says it's not only children, they can bring in their families later. And so Biden has opened this door wide open. And there is talk, of course. Let's get into some of the meat of what he's doing. The administration knew that all of this was going to happen, and everything since Biden even took office has been how to manage the border. You can't attempt to cancel culture, politically cancel, administratively cancel everything the former president did, and then hope to try to keep your problem managed down at the border. And the response is to merely manage the processing. It's not to stem the tide. That's what a senior customs official, border protection, that's a statement that he made. Meanwhile, the Biden administration is in heat for refusing to label the situation a crisis. It's a crisis, and they won't call it that. Why? All through the election, all they did was talk about Donald Trump's border crisis, which was a falsity. That was, you could say, it was a lie. And the situation at the southwest border is difficult. That's what the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro, what a great name, Alejandro Mayorkas said. We're working around the clock to manage the border, and we will continue to do so, he said. That's our job. And we're making progress. And we're executing our plan. It'll take time, and we'll not waver in our commitment to succeed. Now, what I would like to know, you hear all these reporters ask all these questions of Psaki, everybody else that's out there, and they ask the questions. The problem is, I never hear the follow-up answers. How many of you want to hear more follow-up questions to, if somebody says, we've got a detailed plan to make this work? I want to see, I have a follow-up. My follow-up is, could you give us some idea of what those details are? Because it seems that everybody falls back on the, look at Vice President Harris. She's being sent down to the southern border. So there we go. We're back. You know what's funny? It goes, the stream goes dark, but I can still see. There we go. I think we're back. I just got a message that said, field guy. Yeah, exactly. But the follow-up I would have is, there we go. I do believe I am back. Sorry for the glitchiness. It's going to go on tonight, so we'll try not to comment on it so much. Well, I went dark, Barbie D. My internet is up and down, up and down, up and down. So Johnny has to go. Johan has to go. It's giving him a headache. Sorry, Johan. It's the best we can do. So I hope your head gets better. First thing you got to look what you need to know. Number one, even the liberal, the Biden supporting news outlets are taking issue. Is being canceled out. They're not being allowed to go down to the border and report on it. That's a big problem. And even the leftist news media is having a problem with the Biden administration doing that. Now, it looks like I'm frozen up on my monitor. Oh, there we go. It's about a minute behind, I think. So even the liberal news media is having problems with this. And the ongoing influx of migrants at the border is growing so dire that even CNN had no choice but to call out the Biden administration for denying them access to what many believe to be a crisis of the administration's own doing. And hey, Teresa. And so why is that crisis there? That crisis there is because of what the Biden administration is doing. The Biden administration is denying there's a crisis. They're using political speak so they don't look exactly like what they just tried to cancel out and decried in former President Trump. So this is the problem you're having down there at the border right now. And they're also not being allowed to report from there. And we're seeing pictures that are getting leaked out of the border situation. And children in cages. You want to talk about children in cages? Go take a look at the, which I've denied that's ever what it is. It's a detention facility. Of course they're going to have gates. Of course they're going to have chain link fence. It's a detention facility. How can we put veterans along the border to secure it and pay them for it? How can we? I don't know. I think the veterans would probably love to do it, Steve. Matt Finn, by the way, if you didn't hear this at the beginning, I got to say it once again, happy birthday to Matt Finn, Master Finn. I don't know how old you are today, but happy birthday. Everybody wish Matt Finn a good birthday today. And it's good to have you here, first mate. So Master Finn, happy birthday. Matt Finn said we're waging a class war, but importing low-income people and flood low-income areas while exporting middle-wage jobs to Mexico and China. You know, one of the things they're wanting to do as well is bring all these migrants in and give them all citizenship. You know what that's going to do for the Biden administration? What did Joe Biden say just yesterday or earlier today? Well, of course I'm going to run again for a second term. There you go. There's his voter base. So, yeah, everybody, give Matt his due. Give him his due. Happy birthdays. If you want to spank him, you'll have to take that up with him privately. So CNN's Pamela Brown examined the migrant surge at the border and the overwhelmed border and the overwhelmed border patrol and the facilities in a segment over the weekend. And she was telling viewers that as the situation at the U.S.-Mexico border gets worse, the media is being kept away from it. This is CNN. Now, in addition, an award-winning photojournalist blasted the Biden administration for giving zero access at the border and zero access to the media at the border and to observe the customs and border protections operations at the southern border. And it was photojournalist John Moore took to Twitter to lament the lack of transparency. He said, I respectfully ask U.S. Customs and Border Protection to stop blocking media access to their border operations. I have photographed CBP under Bush, Trump, and Obama, but now zero access is being granted to the media by the Biden administration. These long lens images taken from the Mexican side will show you what's going on. And so some of them are over in Mexico, taking long lens shots of what's going on over there. He said, so he respectfully asks the Biden administration to allow reporters to go down there and journalists. So that's being denied. Why? Why do you think? And let me ask you guys, why would the Biden administration be all for them? There we go. Were they all for the media being at the border during the Trump administration when they were trying to decry his actions? Matt Finn says his mama made him cake and the wife brought cupcakes from Kroger. Nice. Happy birthday. I need cake. I need cake bad. So if anybody out there bakes, you want to send me a cake, Sam and I will graciously eat it and sing your praises on this program. So duck and cover war teaching, says Steve Clark. And so the second thing about the Biden, of these 6 things about the Biden administration at the border, the Biden administration awarded ICE an $86.9 million contract for hotel rooms. They're putting up the migrants at the border because he's flung the door wide open. They now have such an influx. They have a facility that's meant for 80 people that has over 650 people in it. 80, 650. Different this border patrol to put migrants up in hotels. Wow, this internet is it's driving me insane. If you're sticking around, I appreciate that. And if you're new to the show or you're just entering tonight, we have serious internet problems. We're doing our best with what we've got here. As Spock said in the episode of This Side of Paradise, no, I'm sorry, The City on the Edge of Forever. He said, I'm attempting to construct a mnemonic circuit utilizing stone knives and bearskins. That's the way I feel about this broadcast with this internet. We're on stone knives and bearskins. But let's continue on as best we can. So the Biden administration awards this 86.9, let's call it $87 million for hotel rooms for the influx of $87 million just for hotels. That's an awful lot of money. I could buy a lot of night stays at the Days Inn for $87 million. So the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is securing all these hotel rooms to handle the growing influx of families crossing into the U.S. Now, let me ask you, is it our responsibility as a nation and this administration's responsibility to provide millions, tens of millions of dollars, put migrants who are flowing into our country, we're supposed to put those people up in hotels? What's wrong with the accommodations we have? Well, they have chain link fences. They're detention centers. They're detaining people who are, oh, there's another word you can't use, illegals crossing into the border. And this is a problem. The payoffs for the hotel chain corporations have lost millions on lockdown. There you go, Matt Finn. Scott Lowry, good to see you. Good to have you here. If I haven't said hello to everybody who's here, thanks. And Field Guy is watching Stephen Crowder covering the Biden press conference. Stephen Crowder, fantastic. Love seeing him. Hey, hold on. Let's just Field Guy to the stream right now. How you doing, Field Guy?
I am good.
I see you've shaved. You are fantastic. So, what's Stephen Crowder had to say about today's? What's he got to say about the press conference?
I didn't really watch it, to be honest. I didn't even know he had a press conference. I didn't know Biden does press conferences.
You said that? I thought that was you. You said you're watching the.
That was Doug, I think. That Doug or Scott Allen said
right.
that.
Oh, it was Doug. There you go.
Yeah, well, I tend to think that Biden is like the Wizard of Oz. You know, the one that plays Oz behind the curtain. You know, where
hey, no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Yeah, and you got Press Secretary Mary Jane.
And the great and powerful. Yeah.
You got I was waiting for the glitch to stop, but you got Mary Jane, who I call her. She goes, let me get back to you on that. She can't answer the first question. How's she going to answer a follow-up question? You know?
Yeah.
I never understand it.
Well, that's it. I would love to see. I would see the press. I'd love to working on. Oh. You say you're working on details. That's not a good answer. Could you give us a complete,
Oh, yeah. Well, let's see. Well, in the event that it's frozen, hey, I just start talking, right? But yeah. Biden won't last the entire year. He's going to be gone. Then you'll have President Kamala, and then after Kamala, you'll freaking have Mel Barbie doll. It's actually raining here by me. Oh, crap. Do I have to host the show now? Uh-oh. Crap. I am not Scotty Roberts. I swear, people. I am not Scotty. But I can kill time for a few seconds until Scotty comes back. Say, but yeah, I guess.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I had to cut field guy. Everything was. I don't know what drains the bandwidth here even further. Adding him, I don't know if it does or not. So it was nice to have him. I dropped and he was still there. How about that? That was kind of cool. So if you can stick with the program tonight, I give you a gold star. Because I said I would, and I'm here. And for the time being. So we'll have to see what happens. So I had to cut field guy. Sounds bad in the wrong context. You shivved him, Scott Allen. So yeah, he did a good job. I didn't hear everything he said. I just happened to see him talking. I'm frustrated. It frustrates me. I'm sorry. I'll do my best in between the glitches. So I don't know why it does it. Just up and down, up and down, up and down. So if all these people that they're putting up in the hotels are waiting to be processed to be sent back, can't you just throw them all in a truck and drive them to the border and say, "Aloha, oi, see ya"? So I do too, Scott Allen. I love seeing people in the chat. Jump in, folks. It's nice to see you on the video. Who wants to come on in? I'll give you the link here again and try to get in. There it is, and there it is right there. You can go there and it'll put you in a waiting. Texas-based nonprofit Endeavors is the company. Provides 1,239 beds and other necessary services. The family receive comprehensive health assessment. So now number 3, we only made it to number 3 of this is the 6th thing, the border crisis, and what you got to know. Number 3, the situation. The Biden administration ignored warning signs, including briefings from senior Customs and Border Protection officials about an impending crisis at the U.S. southern border. The administration knew it was going to happen, and everything since Biden took office has been how to manage it. The response is to merely manage the processing, not to stem the tide. That's all the Biden administration is doing, says senior Customs and Border Protection officials. So he's not trying to stem the tide. He's just there trying to manage it. And I'm adding Steve Clark right now. Steve Clark, how you doing, sir? Good to see you.
Oh, trying to get the rain to go away.
You're trying to get what to go away? Oh, the rain?
Yeah. Got water lines to lay out to the barn and into the house because it's got a water leak coming into the house.
Yeah.
But they can't get down my driveway because it's so muddy.
Oh, man. I know that Sam got stuck in the mud with the truck the other day. And so we had to wait for somebody to come and tow us out. And so anyway, just turning around in what looked like not muddy ground. We just sank in. So, so what do you think of all this border crisis stuff? You say you would advocate for having veterans go down to the border and protect our southern borders.
I've talked to quite a few when I was working at the VA before Trump come into office, because I retired in '04. I've talked to veterans since Trump was in office, since Biden got into office, and there's a lot of them that they they can't fit back into society to where they feel comfortable. But you give them a house and a family and put them down there close to the border and let them patrol the border. I mean, and pay them a little bit of something for it.
Yeah.
And then they're willing to do it. I mean, there's
Sure.
quite a few just in the Wichita area here in Kansas and eastern or northern part of Oklahoma that goes to Wichita. Robert J. Dole VA Hospital here in Wichita. They're willing to do it. If we're
There you
willing
go,
to do it.
Steve, I got to remove you only because we're having connectivity problems. Go figure. We're having connectivity problems on this internet. So, yeah, field guy was going to comment on your clean-shaven face. So there you go. Go get the chicks, brother. Oh, I'm going to be canceled now for saying chicks instead of women. So during President Biden's transition, the Customs and the Border Protection officials Well, I'm back. There's still people waiting in the out in the wings as well, so everything's back on. You know, it's interesting. All the logos over here on this side, all the scroll bar stuff down below, they don't go away. It's just the video. So it's an internet connectivity problem. Hey, CW, good to see you. So, I hate to keep bringing it up, but over and over again. But internet glitches tonight. I told you it was going to be a bumpy ride tonight. It feels worse than it has other nights. So there you are. We're still trying. So the fourth thing that you got to look for in this whole border thing right now is some predicted a crisis as early as last year. Now, many in Central America spread the word that after January 20th, Biden's inauguration date, that migrants at the border would have a better chance of getting into the U.S. And Reuters reported on that in December, a month after the elections. Guy with no pants got me. 3 kids. LOL. Nice, Morgan Snow. I wish I could share with you the lovely picture my wife sent me this morning while we were talking in chat, private chat, but I can't show you. All I can do is hint at it. So let's see. So the then candidate Biden back in December, what do you have to say about it? He promised during the campaign to reverse a number of key immigration policies that were enacted under President Trump, and changes that border officials feared could fuel a surge at the southern border. And policies like the Migrant Protection Protocols, also known as the Remain in Mexico policy. They were crucial to ending the catch and release, a policy in which migrants are released into the U.S. while awaiting immigration hearings. Look, if people are coming here illegally, they're trying to get in legally, they're crossing the border, why are we keeping them here? The catch and release, put them in a detention center or a hotel. They just let them go into the American populace and said, now you show up for your hearing on the 4th, okay? How many people do you suppose just melted in and didn't show up for hearings? So if MPP is to go away, and that's the Migrant Protection Protocols, it'll be absolutely devastating, Mark Morgan, the acting CBP commissioner at the time, warned in November after the elections. He said, if that's going to go away, we're going to have a big problem on our hands. Number 5, look, we're getting to a second point before we glitch out again back on Formica. February's border numbers were enormous. They were huge. Just last month, Customs and Border Protection encountered 100,441 individuals in February. That's a 28% increase since January. And the agency said of those, 19,246 individuals were in family units, 9,457 were unaccompanied children. I don't know if that means teens or small children. And 71,598 were single adults. That was in January to February alone, those numbers. That's staggering. So number 6, border facilities are crowded despite the pandemic. Did you know that? What they were criticizing Trump for crowded border facilities, and we had closed, not totally closed, but we had very managed borders. And the photos of migrants in a crowded border facility in Donna, Texas, were released on Monday by the office of Representative Henry Cuellar. He's a Democrat in Texas, as the Biden administration limits media access to the southwest border. And I'm looking at the picture right here. It's there's a photo of the CBP overflow facility for migrants in Donna, Texas. It's showing they're all up in, what have they got? Is that plastic walls now instead of the chain link fence? And they're all in the silver tinfoil looking survival blankets. and I see at least 20 people crammed into about a 20 by 20 foot space. Now, what are you going to do with that? Is that any different than what happened under the Trump administration? So the migrants are in clear pens. They're clear, akin to cages. They're seen sleeping on pads on the floor with aluminum blankets. And in some instances, it appears that dozens are sharing individual pens, and most appear to be wearing masks. At least they're wearing masks. Oh, man. And so, amid a significant surge of migrants to the southern border in Biden's first 2 months, some in the media have complained about a lack of access to facilities like the one in Donna, Texas. And the White House has said it's limiting media access to border facilities in order to prevent the spread of coronavirus. Are you buying that? Now pull this leg and it plays Jingle Bells. Steph says, okay, can anyone tell me why no one is sending their drones up there and stream the video? That'd be awfully nice. I think they should. Can we? Amanda, yeah, I was saying. Fuck this fuckity fucking fuckery with my internet tonight. There, I said fuck enough times in one sentence. Uh, 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 sorry, folks. I control nothing that I uh, Amanda B, that's just for now. What about a year or so from now? Says Morgan Snow. Spot on, Morgan Snow. I didn't intend to make this whole show about the Biden thing, the border, the crisis at the border. But the Biden administration is working very hard with a thesaurus. I can say that, a thesaurus to try to find new terms so they don't have to use the word crisis, because that's what they criticized the former president for, and look what they got on their hands. Oh, well, we inherited that from Donald Trump, they will say. Well, what did you inherit? I thought you just canceled everything Donald Trump tried to do. You've got all these immigrants are coming now because they know Trump is no longer in office and the policy has changed. This started in January to February. So yeah, if they keep coming in, there's a huge mess on our hands, Amanda. You're absolutely right. What did Michelle say? I missed what you wanted. I can't even watch him. He's an embarrassment. That's very true. CW. More crime comes in. Yes, there has got to be. The job of the president is to control our borders. That is on the plate of the president of the United States. One of his duties. And in Biden's case, it's one of his duties. DOODIES. So, folks, we're coming to the end of the show in about 3.5 minutes. And I'm going to end on time tonight, only because, watch, the internet will suddenly be. Oh, they're going to even show posts tonight, like I was doing last week. It won't allow me to show anything. So hopefully we can just stay connected for the last few minutes of this show. I don't know that there is anything I'm going to be able to do about this. There you go. Steph said, there's Steph, by the way. There's her picture. How about instead of crisis, they use massive fuck up? That works. Yeah, I think that would be a really good response, a really good label, Steph, to put on the Biden administration's fuck up at the southern border. So what you get when all they're out to do is cancel the former president. They want to make sure they wipe him off the map. Ain't going to happen. They are shooting themselves and the country in the foot while kicking us all in the ass as well. So there you go. I'll have to hide that now because we're done with that. So thank you for that comment, Steph. Morgan Snow, what about all those people that will lose their houses and apartments because of lockdowns? It's a good question. Good night, Teresa. Thanks for being here. I'm glad you were here tonight. I'm glad you stuck it out to the bitter end here. Thanks for putting my ugly mug on there tonight. Scotty, says Doug Stack. Steve Clark, thanks for allowing me to say what I had to say. You're welcome, Steve. I would let you on a little bit more if we had a little bit of control over what's going on with the internet. So it's really good to have seen you. Thanks for those of you. Scott Allen, he's still over there hanging in my wings. I don't want to bring him in before we end the broadcast for fear I might end the broadcast prematurely. So I want to thank all of you for your comments, all of you for being here tonight. Once again, it's been said 10 times, pardon our technical difficulties. They're outside of my control. Even if I had an engineer sitting here, it wouldn't do anything for us. So we'll have to somehow, and we can't even bring our own internet into this camping slot because they're not wired. I've got my wireless that I bought through my phone company. And you know what? We watched 2 movies with that a weekend ago. And we did 1 radio broadcast. And it exhausted the $50 card I had purchased. So somebody's making a hell of a lot of money for not really being able to deliver a lot of service. So now it's 10 o'clock. It looks like I have 3 bars instead of 4. And I'm at least not in 1 bar right now. Michelle Canham Free is freezing up there in Wisconsin, where I am not. So I live up there in Wisconsin. Steph, loved seeing you all. Surprise guest tonight. Ask Scott. Ty. I don't know what that means. So Steph, it was good to have you. Steph, you want to come on? Steph, why don't you come on in? Let's bring you in for a minute. Or are you in your jammies already? So you could come on if you'd like. Here's the link. Let's go for a few minutes in overtime because we actually have. Let's see if it even lets me post the link. There it is. Get that link. You can come on in and get in a lineup. and we'll go as long as the broadcast will let us go. If it cuts us off again, I'm just going to say to everybody, thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate it. And thank you for giving me your time, even on a night where we're having some issues with the internet. So, Tubstream, yes, says Field Guy. Doug Stack, top less, please, Steph. Doug, now, behave. We got, it's groppling out. What's groppling? Is that a typo, Michelle Cannon-Free? I don't see you as being one that would have typos. So wife is using the computer. I got no one to follow. No one following me, says Doug. And Elderberry, good to see you tonight. Steve Clark says, take care, stay safe and healthy. And so I appreciate all of you. If nobody's going to call into the show now that we seem to have had a solid 3 minutes without interruption, we might be able to do a little something. If anybody wants to stick around for a little bit, we'll have some fun with it. And if it starts giving us problems again, we'll just exit. We'll make it a night. It's like sleet grappling. Oh, okay. That's a real thing. I've lived through 55 to 60 years of that up there in that area. So I get it. You know, it's real. I just didn't know it had a name. Steph knows something. Need that. Steph says, oh my God, seriously, I'm snuggled in a blanket with the puppers laying on the top of me. I only have my cell phone. Well, that's all right. If you want to come on, you can. Just click that link and we'll line you up. Because as of the moment, knock on wood, the broadcast seems to be doing okay. I'm looking at the monitor. Here's how I monitor the show. You can see that. And I'm not freezing, but it looks awfully fuzzy. So the internet connection is horrid here. And I don't know how many times I can say that. So it bugs me. Frustrates me. My internet is gaslighting me. It's telling me one thing and is performing another way. We were going to talk about gaslighting tonight. We'll have to move that into tomorrow night. See what else we got going on. Since nobody's coming in, I don't want to start chatting, but I'm not going to be able to do anything to really raise the proficiency of the internet by tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. It all depends, I think, on how many people are in this park here that are using the internet at one time. So if you use your phone, you can't see chat, right? I don't know, Steph. I'm not sure if you can or not. I know I'm on my phone. Look, and you can't really make out much, but look at that. I can see the chat, and it scrolls by. It hasn't updated for a while, but there it is. Totally up to you, Stack. It says Doug Stack devices not connected. Matt Finn says may be blessed with a lifetime of good connectivity. I hope you're right, Matt Finn. This has been a trying few weeks on this internet. So let's see. Yeah, that's how it works. Matt was on his phone the other day. He could see us. So when we chat on Messenger, right? Yes, that was Facebook Messenger. So when you and I chatted this week or earlier this week sometime. So, yep, Facebook Messenger. Amanda B., you're my sister even if we don't see eye to eye, says Steve Clark to Amanda B. That's cool. Amanda B., love you. I'm glad you made it in here tonight from all the way over there in Australia. It's nice to have you here when you're here. So, Doug Stacks, I don't know what happened. Your window that popped up said your name, said your devices weren't connected, and I couldn't connect you. So, what camera am I using? Are you asking me? I'm on my laptop. So it's the built-in on my laptop. When I have a proper studio set up one day, you're back to my studio back up in Wisconsin, we'll be in a much better situation. Steve Clark, you stay as long as you want. I'll say goodnight when I'm done. Now, you notice that for the last 5 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes. We've had no cutouts, at least that I can detect. My screen here is not black. It's showing the video crystal clear. I'm looking on the monitor on my phone, and I can see the video. It looks choppy, a little bit choppy there, or fuzzy. Let's put it that way. It's fuzzy. So, yeah, field guy hops on, it might crash. So, anyway, folks, Steph says you need 2 devices. Can you see chat while you're live? She's asking. As soon as I mention a topic, it phases out again. So some of the crew are done streaming. Yeah, maybe so, Matt Finn. Maybe so. So 10 o'clock, everybody's got to be up bright and early tomorrow for some stuff we have going on. So look at my hair. You know what? They cut my hair so short. Well, there we are, folks. We're back, and I'm going to take advantage of the moment that we're back to say goodnight. Thank you all for being here. We're going to be back tomorrow night at the same time, Friday night. We're going to see what we can accomplish tomorrow night. And in the meantime, I'm going to tell you, here you are, Scott. Live long and prosper. Thank you for being here. Have a good night. Ending the broadcast now.